This is a super advanced Chinese factory, but there's something really strange about it. It doesn't work like the others, and that's because this factory runs completely in the dark. No lights, no heating, no people. These are called dark factories. They're massive warehouses full of machines working 24/7 in pitch black. It's pretty wild. Now these dark factories are being built all over China, and they use advanced robotics and AI systems to control everything, from assembly to packaging. The machines are using infrared, LiDAR, and machine vision, so they literally can see in the dark. And these automated factories are super efficient. This one by Xiaomi has 0 employees and is producing a new phone every 3 seconds. That's 27,000 phones per day. But here's where it gets nuts. China's doing so much automation, they used over half of all the industrial robots in the world last year. That's more than the US and Japan combined. And the crazy part is, it's not just factories. China has ghost shipping ports, automated bridge builders, they even have rice farms that are now being fully automated. And soon, China's entire infrastructure is going to be fully built by AI robots.
China is leading the way with dark factories, fully automated manufacturing plants that operate without human workers. A prime example is Xiaomi's state-of-the-art facility in Changping, Beijing. Spanning 81,000 square meters, this factory runs 24/7, producing up to 10 million smartphones annually without any human intervention. By leveraging advanced robotics, artificial intelligence, Xiaomi's factory achieves remarkable efficiency and productivity. Notably, it can manufacture 1 smartphone every 3 seconds, showcasing a seamless and highly efficient production environment.
Did you know China has entered the era of dark factories? Believe me, this isn't something you want to overlook. Picture vast industrial zones cloaked entirely in darkness, no lights, no people, just robots working relentlessly around the clock. Step inside and you're swallowed by a black void. It feels deserted, but soon the sounds reach you. And here's the chilling part. They're not making cars or appliances. They're building more robots. Machines creating machines, fueling an endless loop. Sound familiar? It's like the opening scene of a Matrix-like world where artificial intelligence quietly takes over as we watch from the sidelines.
Good morning. There's an old joke about the factory of the future. The modern factory will be staffed by a machine, a man, and a dog. The machine will run the factory. The man's job is to feed the dog, and the dog is trained to bite the man if he tries to touch the machine. China's already there. This is news from Xiaomi. Xiaomi is a manufacturer of smartphones, and they've opened a smart factory that will produce a smartphone every second. That's 30 million phones per year with no people. So this is known as a dark factory here. This plant is $330 million, and this is the press announcement from Xiaomi, which will use this factory to produce their Fold 4 and Mix Flip smartphones. There's a big dog in that place somewhere. And here's an announcement that sounds like the script for the Terminator. China's got a factory of robots building other robots. 1 robot every 30 minutes, 30,000 robots a year, and the supply chain is all right there in Shunde in Guangdong province. Over 80% of the products to build those robots come from nearby suppliers. Production costs have been cut by 1/3, delivery times by 75%, from months to weeks. The level of automation in China's industrial sector needs to be seen to be believed. No lights, no people. They're fully automated, powered by AI, and robots and sensors that do literally everything. Assembly, inspection, moving things around, all by robotics. Not having people means energy savings, light, air conditioning, heat, all the activities that support people, like food preparation and security and parking and everything else, they go away. The downside of building factories that don't need people is obvious. What to do with the people who you once needed to do all those things before. So it's going to be a problem there for over 10 million Chinese manufacturing workers now, getting them retrained to do something else.
With lights dimmed and no workers in sight, this car factory in China uses hundreds of robots to churn out dozens of electric vehicles an hour, 24/7. This is a dark factory, an area of the plant so automated and with so little human presence that, in theory, the lights could be completely shut off. Factories like this one are part of China's bid to use hyper-automation to dominate the electric vehicle or EV market. But the furious trade war between Washington and Beijing raises a key question. Who is going to buy all these new cars? For decades, the abundance of cheap labour explained why China was seen as the world's factory floor. But
to be honest, I think China will not stop being the factory. And I think what's happened is they realized that their advantage was in people, having a lot of people. Well, there was, of course, exploitation, the whole child labor situation. But I kind of think like they optimized to the point where they realized, hey, this is what has brought us success. Manufacturing is what has brought them success. The only thing is, I think it's the people who've bought China success. It's the Chinese people who've bought China success. According to the system, they look at it in terms of, or according to the capitalistic structure of things, it's manufacturing that's brought them success. And right now they're trying to make sure that how can they keep that manufacturing cost as low as possible and continue with this trend that there will never be a time where the forces or the manufacturing forces or the market forces will ever change and choose to go a different direction other than China when it comes to manufacturing. Which, to be honest, I think it's wise and very, very, very clever for them. Because I mean, if you look at the trends over the years, there was Germany. After Germany, there was Japan. Well, it was America, England, Germany, Japan, and South Korea. So what China is trying to do, it's basically put a stranglehold on this whole thing here, this whole manufacturing. It wants it all for itself. And wants to completely remove everyone out of this situation. Like, it will become the powerhouse in terms of manufacturing. Now, the thing is, as Inside China business guy was saying, what happens to the 10 million Chinese manufacturing workers? And not only that, we also have to account for the part whereby this whole manufacturing optimization, where they're using robotics 24/7 all throughout the factory, will also disrupt the labor markets in other countries. Because at the end of the day, if you're a manufacturer and you're selling the same item that the Chinese are making at half, not even half the cost, it's almost like way less than a quarter of the cost, and using less labor and having to deal with less regulations because they're not dealing with humans anymore. So if you're competing in the same market, you're finished. You're not gonna have any. It's not gonna happen. And you also have to consider, because now a lot of people don't have jobs because of automation, that means there's gonna be lower income. And when there's lower income, that means cheaper items are going to be much more preferred. And if cheaper items are going to be preferred, guess what? The Chinese win. I think it's the same problem that a lot of manufacturers, especially from other countries like Germany and South Korea and also Japan are facing, that they are finding it so hard to compete with the Chinese. And the reason why is because the Chinese have a very different way of approaching the market. The Chinese we go to the market as fast as possible, regardless of whether the item is of quality or not. And you go to the market with a very good price. We might not sell a ton, but the thing is, we will iterate as we sell, which in general puts the consumer at a risk in terms of getting a bad quality items or getting bad quality items or getting dangerous items. So, and the problem is that in many countries around the world, consumer protection is not as high as in, let's say, Europe, America, and Japan, and South Korea, and the rest of the developed world. So the Chinese will still get their data and iterate. And this is what they've done over the last couple of years, especially with their cars, with their electrical vehicles. That right now, they're able to compete with the best. And how are they able to do that? Well, number one, there's, of course, theft of IP. That's one thing they've made sure that they do not abide by in China. Secondly, the part where they're able to get enough data from ready consumers who are using the items or who are using the low quality items that they push into the market as fast as possible. Then is also the other part where for these factories, it's going to become very, very hard. So for me, I think one of the biggest advantages, or the thing that the Chinese are trying to do here, is absolute consolidation, full force consolidation. Like they want to make sure that they're able to get this whole manufacturing thing in in their hands 100%. They already have control over the rare earth metals and a lot of the refining of a lot of minerals around the world, which are used in manufacturing. So a lot of these items, when you hear Xiaomi is able to make 27,000 phones every day, that's a phone every 3 seconds. BYD is able to manufacture a car, I think it's within 60 seconds or 30 seconds, one of those, I don't know. Can't remember very well. But that in general requires like absolute unfettered vertical integration. That means there's no point where the company that's running the dark factories will wait for steel, for aluminium, for any kind of metals that are required to manufacture at all. Everything is going to be just within the compound. And we're seeing that's pretty much how they want to structure this whole thing. And it's all going to be automated. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.